Good evening. Welcome to the PNW Basketball Coaches Show, everybody. That's where you clap. There you go. Anybody who's listening out there, hey, that's it. Boy, you're supposed to clap. Thanks to everybody here at Station 21 in Crown Point. We take the show on the road for our final show of the season. And big thanks to Dave Warner and all the people here at Station for, I know, Coach Dave, tell everybody a little bit about the role that they played in your team.
Absolutely. He's been instrumental. He's provided meals. He supported our program as a corporate sponsor. And our kids love his food and obviously this opportunity to invest back into them. If he looks at my bill, I've spent a lot of money here. It's like, right by my house, so I stop in and get some food and really appreciative of his support of PNW athletics. Yeah,
I'm a fan. I come here. There's a golf course I play in the summer. Not now. I wish. It's a nice day today, but in the summer after, it's always good to have some food and an adult beverage if you can once in a while too, which I'm sure you've consumed as well here.
Yes,
so good stuff.
Their food is fantastic.
Yeah, the food's good.
Yes.
Tell us about the people you got with us here on the show today.
All right, we have Antreese Shelton, sophomore forward, who's been starting the majority of our games for us in conference. And then we have our assistant coach, Natalie Jarrett, first time on the radio show.
I can tell she's excited.
Can't you see it in my face?
Yes.
It's a lot of
That's why I said I can tell, yeah.
I'm excited now. I've just warmed up. I'm good to go.
All right, Coach. How's your first season gone here?
It's been tremendous. You know what? I was in Pennsylvania, so besides the weather being a little bit more frigid than PA, it's been awesome just getting to know our kids and work with our kids and just, see their development.
Where in Pennsylvania were you?
Easton, Pennsylvania, where the Slugger bats were made, Easton, Pennsylvania.
How close is that to, like, Pittsburgh and stuff like that? Not close at all? Hershey?
We're about 5 hours.
Okay, so what part of the state is that?
You know what? That's a great question. What part of the state is that?
I'm talking like north and east.
We're northeast.
Okay.
Geography's not really my thing. North.
Geography
was not my subject.
She's a UCLA grad, so don't just
don't judge me.
Yeah, don't judge her.
Yeah. But I was at a school, actually, the rival to our wonderful AD, Rick Costello, where he graduated.
You?
Yeah, Lehigh.
Okay. I did not know that.
We don't speak Lehigh around here.
Right. It's a bad idea. Got it. You don't want to ruffle the feathers.
Absolutely not.
I know you're a big teacher of the post in a little bit that I've seen you work, and Antreese obviously plays in the post. So
she does.
Talk about the development of her season and where you've gone from the beginning of the season to now, and where things are going to continue these next couple of years.
Absolutely. This is where I'm passionate. I played a little post in college, and for me, I think for our post players, we've got a lot of room to grow. But the greatest thing is that I've got a group who's willing to learn and willing to work. So we've put in some hours. I know they're probably sick and tired of hearing my voice. But we're going to continue to develop. We're going to continue to work and, continue to grow. I've helped develop kids that have, gone on and was drafted in WNBA. So when it comes to development, I feel like that's an area that I'm pretty strong at. So, like I said, our group is awesome, and they're willing to work. So that's all it's about.
Antreese, nice to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
What have you learned from Coach so far about things that you've taken under her tutelage in the post?
To be present on offense. In high school, I wasn't really present on offense. I was there defensively. So she's taught me to be a presence and be big and want the ball.
Coach, do you think that she's made some big strides this year?
Absolutely. It's about confidence. Sometimes I think people often forget about post players. Why? I don't know, because we're the biggest people on the floor. But I think for Antreese, it's, again, just getting comfortable offensively. And I think that's an area, again, we're going to continue to grow, but an area that she's showing a lot of improvement.
Coach, obviously, you played the guard spot, so you didn't play the post as much, so your experience different. Was that a big part of adding to your staff and trying to find things that you don't know necessarily as much about just because you didn't do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I played at Rutgers, Coach Stringer was big on developing us on both ends. She would have the guards in the post and the posting guards because I think you appreciate what the posts have to do inside. Every once in a while when our guards get tired of having to defend people, I throw them in the post to say, hey, you don't have to defend the post. But it's huge. She talked about getting one of her players drafted at Lafayette College. Natalie Kukowski was drafted to the Seattle Storm. She worked with her for 4 years. Obviously Natalie had a skill set already, but She was huge in developing her in all areas of her game, and to see where she is now is phenomenal. She's overseas playing professionally, and I think that was huge for us, is to have someone truly develop our post players. And I think you can see that with Antrese, offensively and defensively. She's made an impact on our program, and now we just got to get to a point where we're consistent.
So the GLIAC to me is pretty similar in some ways on the men's and women's side, but I've noticed an evolution almost, I think, the last couple of years in the conference to a lot less guard play, I feel like, and a lot more teams have that bigger post player, and then some teams who used to have that then graduated that. Now they've had to change the way they play.
Yeah.
So I think everything's constantly changing. If you had to hang your hat on one style of play, what is your preference?
I mean, we're pick and roll. We want our guards to create, but we want to have a post present. We got to own the paint, and that's what we're getting to. I agree with you. The conference and the evolution of it has changed. Grand Valley, Northern Michigan, Ashland, when they were in the conference, had some of the best post players, and I think Division I post players in the conference. They all graduated, and now our conference is pretty guard heavy. Our Player of the Year candidates are going to be guards this year, and they've been posts in the past. And for us, we want to own the paint. Whether it's our guards getting in the paint off the cut, the pass, or a post up, because our guards can't get let loose unless we get the ball inside and we have a presence inside.
Antrese, talk about your relationship with your fellow, what's the right term, I guess, players in the post, your teammates at the forward spot, and how you guys work together, and probably, it's competition to a certain level that you want to play more than any of your teammates. That's always the goal, but have that relationship to say, hey, when you come off the floor and maybe made a mistake, I'm sure they're right in your ear on that.
So it really starts with Lex. I give Lex a lot of prop because even though she doesn't play as much, she still encourages us to be the best that we can be, and knows that if we're not the best, then no one else thrives if we don't do our best. So I give a lot of props to Lex, and also Molly as a 4. Coach puts me as a 4 and a 5, but mostly a 5. So we're all together, and we all push each other day to day. It might get hard sometimes, but we just keep pushing through and being the best we can be.
Biggest growth spot for you?
I need to be more consistent. I'm not consistent enough. We work on that. We're still trying to figure out how to go about it and what it is to make me more consistent. But once I figure that out, I think I'll be fine.
Coach, areas?
I'll get in there. Finishing over the right shoulder. She's more of a left shoulder turn. That's my basketball terminology. But I'm going to say we got to get her developed. Just her touch around the rim and just finishing getting a counter move to when her left shoulder is taken away.
Coach Hayes loves the post as well.
He does.
He talks a lot about it. And I was hoping he was going to make it on today. I don't know if he's still going to, but he had some plans, so we were hoping he did. But he talks a lot about that all the time, and a lot more off the microphone than he does on it at different times. But he believes that's a big emphasis. His big thing, I think, that I've taken away this year, number of things, but the mid-range game. Is that something you guys are hoping to add more consistency there?
Absolutely. I think, again, you can't just always finish around the rim. You got to be able to, knock down jumpers and, do that consistently, for sure.
Coach, biggest areas of growth for your team still here in this final week, and then as you're looking forward to roster changes, graduations, and then in recruiting where you're trying to add?
Yeah, I think the biggest word for us is consistency right now. We went on a run and played some teams in our conference really, really well. We didn't, show up this last weekend, and now we got to get back on track. Our identity was defense, and we haven't done that well recently. So we got to get back on track. We got to be consistent. We got to show up every day, and we got to finish strong. We got one more game, and all we can do is control our own destiny, and all we can do is show up. So if we can do that against Northwood, I'd be pleased.
To a certain degree, talking about showing up is coach speak a bit, but elaborate on that a bit more.
Showing up is just being consistent. We talk about 2 words every single day, intensity and immediacy. So we got to have an intensity, and it has to be now. And, we can't wait for next year. She's a sophomore, and I need her to show up now. I need her to produce now. And it's not even about scoring. It's her presence, her talk, her focus. You know, when we go from scout to scout and we're playing different teams differently defensively, that she's leading us in the post and having that voice. And each member of our team has to do that, right? But you got to have a focus. You got to be able to switch gears. You got to be able to know who you're guarding, know the scouting report, know the game plan. And I think that's the piece of it that's showing up. You know, when you walk in those doors into the FNRC and you're ready to play, you got to switch it on, and we got to be focused and ready to stick to our game plan and execute it.
And Therese, you're from Penn. You went to Penn High School, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of a rivalry, I think, between you guys and Crown Point over the last couple of years. So you knew Dash Shaw well before that. Did you guys have to get over a couple of things when you became teammates?
No, not really.
No. Good. From Penn is a little bit southish from here, I think, right? And what was your biggest adjustments? And Coach, Rob, the same questions for you. When you're talking about it's cold around here, and you already knew that, but we joked on Saturday, I think it was, when Lake Superior State and these other teams were in Ferris, and they're coming from these crazy parts. Lake State's Canada almost, right?
Yeah.
The snow we had Thursday was nothing to them.
Yeah.
And what kind of adjustment is that for you, going on the road, seeing some of those different climates, and then trying to handle schoolwork and basketball at the same time?
I don't really think much about it. I like that we travel a lot. It's actually really fun. Hot, cold, I like traveling. It's fun. I like being with my teammates. Coach makes the road trips very fun. So it's overall a great experience.
How does she do that?
We have game nights. My room brings the games.
Okay.
And we play.
Board games, right?
Well,
or
we
no,
play
different card games?
All types of games.
Okay.
So she makes road trips very fun. So.
And we eat good.
And we eat. Yeah, we
well.
do.
That's the most important.
Well,
Yes.
we eat well. We eat good.
We eat real good.
Real good.
That's at Rutgers education.
Yeah, geez, I know. Had to get that in there. That's nice.
Absolutely.
That's nice. Favorite game? Is there one? Or a list? A short list?
What's the one?
See, we only ask the tough questions here.
It's like you have it's like 7-second showdown. There you go.
7-second showdown.
You have 7 seconds to do a thing as a group. So she splits us up, and she reads off a card, and it's like one of those little time things that you flip, and you have like 7 seconds to do the task. And if you don't, the other team gets a point.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay. Like radio appropriate stuff?
Yeah.
It's like play leapfrog.
I just want to make sure.
No, it's like you have to sing a Beyonce song out loud,
okay.
or like you have to find 3 polka dots in the room. Like, it's just.
And people panic probably in the moment.
Yeah.
Oh yes, 100%.
Like
Pressure.
Name 7 states, and everybody's like,
Yeah, you can't do it. And probably forget the one you're in. Almost.
100%.
Coach, how have you already kind of addressed it a bit, but the big difference, by the way, I've been to Pennsylvania many times in my life, but the biggest difference here is the wind, maybe?
100%.
Yeah. It's awful. We always joke around here that if it's like today, if it's like 40, 50-ish like today, that's pretty nice, it feels like.
It's
but
beautiful.
if it was windy, it would almost not feel nice.
This is
Even
very
30
true.
almost feels okay if it's not that windy.
So I was in Chicago the other day, and I felt the Chicago wind, and that's a different wind.
Cuts through you.
It cuts right through your soul, right through your soul. But I would say probably the biggest adjustment, besides the negative, I think it was about -4 degrees one morning that I woke up. Besides that, I've actually never seen that in my life.
Really?
No.
Have you lived in Pennsylvania the whole time?
I did, but no. I was only there for 4 years.
Where were you before that?
I was in Nashville, Tennessee. And then prior to that, I was in California, and we never got below 60 in California. So,
Right.
So I would say the biggest adjustment would definitely be the wind, and then waking up to -4 degrees when you have to go to practice at 6 a.m.
That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to go to Chicago and really get around? I mean, unfortunately, there's certain areas that aren't as great as usual, but there's still areas that are nice about Chicago. Have you had a chance to go around there?
I have a little bit. So went to a Cubs game this summer. I've spent a little time here with recruiting, so I've been around a little bit and just kind of done a little bit of downtown. So a little bit. I've kind of been a tourist a little. I did with my brother. He was here for the summer. We did the boat tour, which is really cool.
Right.
And so we got the history of Chicago. It was awesome. So.
Now, favorite restaurant besides Station 21? That's in Crown Point.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite in Chicago? Have you had one? Have you tried any like the Giordano's? Which, again, everything's kind of fluctuated and migrated to the region almost, to where you can get a lot of stuff. But it's still probably better there. You haven't? Are you a pizza person?
I am, but I've not had Giordano's.
Is there a person who's not a pizza? Is anybody on the team not a pizza person?
They're
Does that
not human
exist?
if they are.
Yeah, I think you should consider cutting them.
No, we have a corporate sponsor,
Right.
as you know,
Right.
and so they're a little pizza out, but they like pizza.
Right. Well,
They do love pizza.
how can I sugarcoat this? Pizza like Giordano's, I'm talking.
I don't know.
Like legit, you know.
So we had Jets Pizza.
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's only in Michigan,
Nah.
and so we had Jets.
It can't be
Pizza.
good then if it's in Michigan. It's not Chicago.
It's not good, but it was very good.
It was good. It was
yeah,
okay?
the team. So the men's and women's team, we travel together, and the men always get it, so we got it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and so we got it, and it's really good. But I have not given them Giordano, so
I mean, it's good.
I
It's not that. Where is it? On 30 over there?
yeah, it's on 30 in Maryville or
It's pretty
Cherville.
close. I mean, that used to be like a birthday thing when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Giordano's to Chicago by Millennium Station.
yeah, I don't
or,
know.
Millennium Park, I should say.
Yeah,
End
right
station,
there by
I
the
guess.
beam.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Have you explored Chicago? I mean, because you,
Yeah.
unfortunately, obviously we understand the last couple of years, so you haven't had as much of a chance.
Yeah,
Favorite
it's-
spot for you?
I like the West Loop.
Okay.
The West Loop has a lot of good food. So I have a really good friend of mine that works at NIU, and we meet up about once a month in the West Loop and find different restaurants and hang out. So I've gone there quite a bit. That's one of the places that sold me about PNW because I love cities, and we have a great city right there. So as much as I can, I do try to go to the city. And then we were there all summer watching Coach Copper win a championship.
yeah.
So we were there quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw some of the social media posts. I know you guys were following that very closely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
got our chance to hang out. I'm a huge fan of Chinatown, too. They have some
Chinatown, yeah.
great food.
Yes.
Great
Yes.
food.
I love food too, so
Yeah.
I get it. Let's talk about this past weekend.
Yes.
We had the Hall of Fame ceremony, celebration of some of PNW's best athletes. Cassidy Deno included in that, someone who I got a chance to call some of her games, legit ball player in this university. But as you talk about a lot of times, alumni like her and others who come back, and I saw there were some others as well who were amongst the crowd on Saturday at the very least. I don't know if they were here before that or not, but what does that mean to you? And I know we talk about it all the time, that aspect of it, and then we'll get into your couple of seniors as well.
Yeah, so Antrice has the shirt on, and it says Sisterhood. So I went to both of their induction, Brooklyn Short and Cassidy Deno, and got to spend time with them, and we got shirts made for them. We wear those in warm-ups to recognize them and honor them. And then we had a group of our alumni come back into our locker room and really just talked about what sisterhood means. I'm in a group chat with women from Cheney State, Iowa, and Rutgers, and all three of them played for Coach Stringer. And so that sisterhood is huge, and that's something that we want to create here, whether I coach them or not. And one of the really cool things about it was I was talking with Cassidy, and yes, 2,000 points, amazing basketball player, all these accolades, and Lex Roepke is a PT major. Like, she wants to go into physical therapy, and that's what Cassidy does. And I'm like, this is a sisterhood. Like, they need you. They need your help. They need you. They need your experience. And these are the things that you can give back to our university. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with all the accolades you've done. It's about investing back into this program and young women. So that was huge for us, for them to come into the locker room and share about their experience and what they would tell them. One of the biggest things was that they wish they could all come back and play and not be adults.
Yeah, wow. I think a lot of people would echo that once they get to that spot.
Yeah, so it's special. It's special. This is home for them. I saw Brooklyn walking in the gym with her 2 daughters and her husband, and she was just looking around, and I was just watching her, and this is home for her. And we welcome them with open arms, whether I coach them or not. It was cool to have Bailey and Shay back, who I have coached, and see what it means to them to come back and to see their teammates. It's special, and I want to continue to grow this sisterhood and what it means to be a part of the PNW Pride.
Both of the last two you just mentioned into the fraternity or the sorority, we'll call it, right?
Yeah,
Coaching.
They look at me, and so it was funny. They came back to a game earlier in the season. I think it was our Quincy game, and they came into my office, and they were like, "Coach, we understand now." Yeah. And I'm like, "Thank you. I'm not on this, island alone anymore." And so it's awesome to see them grow and learn and doing the things. Shay got engaged, and to be a part of that piece of it is why I coach. is developing young women, and to see that is pretty awesome.
And Therese, talk about your two teammates, Molly DeValk and your Brittany Barnard, seniors. Pretty soon we'll be having the conversation, God willing, if I'm still here, but I know you will be, when you're a senior all of a sudden, and that's going to go, time flies like that. I'm sure they've told you that. What do you take away from this weekend, honoring them and all the celebration that went into everybody else?
I took away, don't take it for granted, and take everything day by day and appreciate everything. Molly is very tremendous. She is a great human. She taught me how do I say it? What am I looking for? Molly just shows me that, you can do anything on your own. You don't need other people. And Britt is just always encouraging. So it just teaches me, they both taught me how to be a better person overall. And I really appreciate that.
I'll help you now. Independence?
There we go. Independent. Thank you.
Coach, you've only been here this year, obviously, but what do you take away from this group?
They're a great group. We sat at the end of the game, and we gave them their roses at the end of the game, and Coach talked about both of them, and I couldn't echo it anymore. Molly has brought so much to the team. She's that person that you can count on consistently. And Brittany is just that calming force. I told her at the end of the game, when she walks into the room, there's just you can just kind of breathe, when she's around. And both provide really good leadership, for us. I think they've both looked at themselves as not being leaders, but they've really stepped up this year, which has been great.
When you get introduced to a new group like you have, what's the biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge, as the word's always outsider at first until it's not? Absolutely.
And I've been introduced to a good portion of teams. I would say probably just learning all the different personalities. And once you've learned all their personalities, those personalities have to kind of mesh with you. And they have to, I don't want to say like you, but, yes, like you. So I'd say the biggest challenge is just getting to know all the different personalities.
You got to do that with the head coach, too, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and figure her out and, keep her off the referees. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
So Lex is my get-back coach.
Is she?
Yeah, she pulls me back.
Grabs you? Says, come on, Coach. Can't be giving away points and the other team with the free throw line?
I haven't done that.
I mean, sometimes you have to, though, I think.
I think I got one tech this year, first time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Had to be on the road,
It was on the road.
Yeah.
I get a lot of warnings.
Well, what's the story? What'd you do?
I don't even remember what I did. Do you remember?
No.
Do you remember?
Wasn't warranted? You didn't earn it? There wasn't.
No, it was the guy. The official was opposite of me, and I was going in, and I ended up getting a tech. He was opposite, and I just kept going. But I don't.
Yeah, she was having a conversation, and they didn't want to listen.
Just a calm conversation.
It's weird.
Did he give you one of these, and then you just kept going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah. I get it.
It did fire. It was more to fire up because when he walked.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. It did. But when he walked by, I was like, I'm not mad at you. I just wanted to get them going. So it was kind of like.
So you're still on the Christmas card list? It's all good?
I think so.
Good.
I think so.
Good. Well, as we look, as you said, Coach, we got one game left this week. You still control some things a little bit, can win that game, and then you put pressure on Northern Michigan's the other team in the equation. We talked about that. A team, like we talked about on the phone yesterday or the day before, interesting the way things have had to play out with the schedules fluctuating so much. We go to that. Almost hockey's the only sport I knew that had a point system before until I found out you guys were doing it in conference. You beat a team twice, 2-0, and you think you might have a tiebreaker, but maybe not. So we'll find out all that as we go throughout the week. But as this season wraps up, whether it's this week or in the conference tournament in the following week, where do you think your program stands? For all the people who are here supporting you, who are there Saturday, who might be listening to this show or watching it, give us a summation of where things are and where they're headed.
Yeah, we're on the up. If you look at what we've done, and without our leading scorer and all conference player, we've had some major pieces step up. We've built confidence. We've had some transfers come in that have really helped us. You have a phenomenal kid in Kennedy Jackson, who I think we tallied up the other day, has drawn 22 offensive fouls, and I just think that's sight unseen.
I thought it might be higher.
That was only in conference.
Okay, yeah, then it is. All right, that's
it
what
is
I thought.
higher.
Yeah,
it is way higher.
I set the over-under 2.5 every game, to be honest.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right. we're getting there. We're young, but we at one point we were starting a freshman, 2 sophomores, a junior, and a transfer. At one point that's who we were. And we got the right pieces. We got to continue to grow. We got to continue to develop and get better. But this team is bought in. This team knows what they can do. Since I've been here, and this is year 3, we've beaten every team in this conference except for Parkside and Grand Valley. Like, this team is getting there bit by bit, game by game. We are getting there. But we've beaten every team in this conference except for 2 teams. So we got some more that we got to work on. We got to continue to grow and develop, but we have the pieces, and I'm really excited to coach these kids.
And Therese, same kind of question to you as you lose those couple of seniors and add, I'm sure, a couple of recruits and other players involved in that, maybe some transfers, whatever coach has up her sleeve. But this roster you guys have right now and yourself, where do you think things are? We're on the right track?
Yeah, I feel like we're on the right track. I feel like next year every year we're getting better. So she keeps putting new pieces in and making sure that we as a group get better. So I'm really excited.
Coach, as we look at the weather's not going to get any nicer, but the play on the basketball floor is going to keep getting better and better in your mind.
Absolutely. Every year is more growth and more wisdom, and we'll continue to recruit different type of players that are just kind of fit into what we have already. I think we've got really good pieces, and it's just kind of getting them to continue to grow and continue to develop and create something very wonderful in the GLIAC.
Coach, before we got something?
Oh, yeah. Well, remember last year we had, 6 or 7 games that were less than 5 points. Yeah. So this year we took those games into overtime, and we finished those 3-1. So we won those games this year, which was huge for us because we could do that. So we finished those games off this year. Next year we got to separate and win by more than double overtime, triple overtime, single overtime.
There's only so many Alka-Seltzers you can have, right?
This is true.
Eventually it gets bad for you.
This is true.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Before we go, let's again, for people who might have just tuned in and missed the beginning, let's talk about Dave, folks here at Station 21, and really, it's not a marketing ploy or anything like that, but the people who get involved, I think, don't regret it, right? I think would be a good summary of that. Talk about not just Dave and Station 21, but the people who have been a big part of this program and why people out there should be.
Absolutely. It's about the kids. It's about these kids. They give everything that they have to this program, and we want to give them the best experience possible. It started 2 years ago. I asked Dave and Station 21 to provide a meal for my team, a pregame meal, and he did it. We go around and ask different restaurants in the community to do that, and he provided that meal for my kids. And then, this year I kind of pulled his arm a little bit to be a corporate sponsor, and he showed up, and our team is loving it. I kind of persuaded him a little bit with the bill that I have here and how much money I'm spending here because I love the food. But we're invested in Station 21, and they're invested in us, and we're really thankful for this opportunity. It takes a village. It takes a village to build a program. It takes a village to give these kids the experience that they deserve, and they deserve it because they come in every day and they work hard, and they're going to have a great product on the floor. They're great students, they're great people, and they really, really do deserve it, and it takes a village, and Dave and Station 21 is a part of that village, and we're super thankful.
Well, it's always my favorite time of year, besides when it's summer and warm and I can go outside. But basketball season is my next favorite time of the year, and this season's flown by. It's almost hard to believe. And we're at the end of it. We're at the end of our show here. It's always great to catch up with you every couple of weeks. And we look forward to doing that again in November-ish, probably, right?
I can't believe it. I know you're going to miss us. You're going to miss me and
course.
Boomer.
Yeah, of course.
More than anybody. But, we'll make it up.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Good to see you as always. And Therese, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Coach Jarrett, good to see you.
Thank you, Sam.
And we're going to make this regular. So
please do. Yeah. I love this portion. I love this.
Thank you.
Good, because somebody has to like it. All right, the men coming up in just a moment. Coach Roberts and a couple of his players will join us right after this.
For more than 100 years, Albert's Diamond Jewelers has been offering the widest jewelry selection around.
I'd like to say if you can't find it here, you can't find it anywhere. We serve everybody, and we don't pick and choose the markets that we want to represent. So some people go after the entry-level consumer. They want to get somebody when they're young I want to get that consumer when they're young, because you know what? For me, I can take them through their whole life cycle of buying jewelry. So they can buy a $25, $50, $100 item for their first girlfriend or boyfriend. They can also come in here when they want to get the pre-engagement ring, and then they can come back and buy the engagement ring, and then they can upgrade to that 10, 20, 30 year anniversary, and maybe they want the 2-carat or 5-carat or 10-carat diamond. So we take them along that whole life cycle. Starting early, on to later in your career, we can serve you all the way through.
Whether you're just starting your jewelry journey or well on your way, visit Albert's Diamond Jewelers for your next purchase. See you at Albert's.
Biology major Adam Rich is on a first-name basis with his professors. Through these connections, he is already doing hands-on research, placing him a step ahead on his career path. At Purdue University Northwest, we call that powering onward. Students determined to succeed find a home at our 2 vibrant campuses in Hammond and Westville, offering 70 areas of study, NCAA Division II athletics, hundreds of student activities, and more. It's your turn to power onward. Learn more about Purdue Northwest at pnw.edu. That's pnw.edu.
It's easy to feel a sense of gratitude here in Indiana because there is a whole lot to be grateful for. Family and friends and enough calmness around you to really appreciate the simple things. I really just try to show gratitude by doing my part, working hard, being friendly and kind. I feel really lucky to live here.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
All right, back here at Station 21, where we have the PNW basketball coaches. You like the little music thing we got?
This is great, man. This is the whole atmosphere. Got to meet David. This is a pretty sweet spot.
It is. Have you been here before?
I have. We dined here, and it was stupendous.
The family or the team?
No, some of the coaching staff. We came here. Had a good time. The family's supposed to be here at some point. They might already be.
Your family?
Yeah.
Got it.
Food? Right. Come on. Roberts are in.
I just asked Coach Locke and Coach Jarrett this as well, and Treese, but we talked about pizza specifically, but who doesn't love food, right?
Bad people.
Yeah.
Bad humans.
Not real people.
Yeah.
Not real people.
No.
I hear some people, they can do their diets and whatever, and they probably look better than me with their shirt off than a lot of people do. But
I'm not going to touch
I'd rather
that.
eat. Yeah, it was like a lead-in. It was a lead-in to saying I just like to eat, and sometimes I say, you know what, you just have to deal with it, and you do the best to maintain mediocrity. That's where I've kind of gone.
That's a high standard.
Yeah, I'm just
all right.
With the appearance at least. That's why I wear jackets.
You look good in the jacket.
To try to disguise.
I'm sticking with the half set.
All right, Coach. We had a nice end of the home schedule. A very solid couple of games you guys played in. I think Saturday definitely your best performance that I've seen in person, probably outside of maybe a couple weeks back when you won the 2 at home. But what did you take away from the fact that? I mean, we've discussed it at length, and people who follow us are probably tired of listening to, again, not excuses, just real obstacles that you guys had. But what did you take away most from those last couple games, especially Saturday?
Yeah, I thought we had a good week. We came out against Northwood, and we knew it was going to be a 3-game week. I thought we played pretty well. We didn't finish great, but made enough plays late to get that done. And then quick turnaround. There's blizzard. There was all sorts of stuff. 17 hours later, we play Lake, and the only prep we had was a hour film session walkthrough about an hour before the game. And these guys came out and really competed, held the lead for most of the second half. Again, the GLIAC is a finish or don't league, which a lot of leagues are when you get into late February. It's going to be so close because everybody knows each other. We didn't finish on Thursday. Saturday, these guys were really determined. Gyro, Pete, seniors really led the charge on Friday, what we wanted to be about, and we finished. We made a bunch of plays late. We made some crazy plays late that I don't love, but I think people overlook the fact we got stops when we needed to. We really guarded. We shared the ball, and we stuck shots.
Tell us about Jairus Fields, Caleb Zerlini here with us. We'll have a couple other guys join us in a moment, but tell us about them. Gyro on his senior day had a big day.
Yeah, this guy to my left is he's going to go down as an all-timer because he was the first elite recruit to say, I want to go to Purdue Northwest. He dominated the best junior college league in the country, led it in scoring and rebounding, had every Division II in America on him, and Division I's, turned down Division I offers to come. And because he believed in our family, he believed in our staff, he believed in our team. And he was an all-conference guy. He's gone through a lot in his career. He's really matured as a teammate. He's matured as a man. He's going to be a faithful husband, loving father. He's got a lot to give this world. And I thought he finished his stretch. We got another one coming up on the road, but his home game, I mean, he set the tone from the beginning. He was balling. I was really proud of him. And then Caleb Zerlini, he's as talented as anybody. We knew that from the moment we recruited him. Great family, great dude. I always leave with, you're a great dude. As he gets nastier and more comfortable being a big-time competitor, I mean, there's nothing on the floor he can't do. He leads the league in block shots. He can guard 1 through 5. He's a big-time passer. He sees the floor. He's smart. He's getting tougher and tougher, and he makes shots. I think he's a 50, close to 40, not 90, but he's a good free throw shooter. So he's really efficient for us. Both these guys, obviously, he's laid the foundation, and he's a huge part of our future.
Jairus, talk about that decision. I don't know if we've ever completely discussed it, but decision you made when you came in here 3 years ago, and why you probably believe that it was the right decision.
Obviously, I had a lot of looks and offers, but I came here and I felt like it was home to me from the start to the finish, and just the way they was talking to me and treating me as a big time recruit, just the family here, I got love as soon as I walked in the building. So I felt like I had to come here.
When you go through that process, I think different guys might look for different things, but you were obviously looking for a connection with the coaching staff. And when they built that, was it pretty easy?
Yeah. I haven't had, big-time connections with all my coaches in my past, but, this one, he's huge, and, he's done so much for me. He just cares about me so much and loves me as myself, and on and off the court, he just does everything for me.
On and off the courts, basketball, life, those two things we talk a lot about in sports, and people don't, and you said it, Coach Saturday, people don't ever realize, and that's the toughest thing for me because I coach, and so when I know what my players at the high school level are going through, it's easy to understand that, and parents might not, but you do. So I always have to tell myself when I'm watching my favorite baseball team or football team that you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know. They just had a new baby and they got 2 hours of sleep and now they got to play a game the next day. I mean, that can happen. So when you talk about all the off-the-court things that you guys have gone through as a team, some of the on-court things that have impacted it as well, how do you think Boomer and the rest of the staff that you've had at your time here at PNW, how have they prepared you, most importantly, for life?
First, he just got me, with Jesus Christ. He's put that, first in my heart. And, I never really, been a Jesus Christ lover. And, ever since I've been here, it's just my number one thing. And, God is always my main focus now. I just know, how hard my life has been. I just know God is always going to be there for me. And he put that in my life.
Caleb, good to see you, man. It's I think this is going to be the wrong way to say it, but we've said it a number of times throughout the broadcast, I think this last couple of weeks, that in a season of a lot of ups and downs that you have been, to me, one of the steadier performances, and I think if there is a silver lining or one of the standouts in a year that there's probably things you guys would like to forget, I would say, but yeah. One of the good things would be you, especially your development coming off the injury from last year.
Yeah, I mean, just do what I can for the team, There's not a specific night or game that I come out and try to give more or less. Just I try to be consistent and just fill in gaps where I can.
What do you think is your best trait? Because you do a little bit of everything. I've said it. You're not going to lead the team in scoring most nights, but some nights you might. It's usually an 8 to 10 point game. There's a couple blocks in there. There's 5 to 10 rebounds mixed in. It's kind of all over the place. So where do you like to concentrate most when you go into a game thinking this is how I'm going to impact it?
Honestly, I can't say I focus on one single thing. It's more of a, just really relying on my teammates. If they give me the ball, I'm going to do my best to make a play for them, or whether it's grabbing that rebound and advancing it to the open guy, just getting up the floor. I'd say mostly my focus this year, though, has been defensively. I know I got to grow there, and I know I can be a pretty good defender when I want to be.
Elite, not pretty good. This guy can be a monster on D. Sorry.
But, yeah, it's just a lot, not lack of, but I just got to, like Coach said earlier, get nastier and figure out what that next step is to be tougher and really just lock that in for my team.
This is where sometimes I ask the tough questions, Coach, but not that tough. Right or wrong, tell me if I read a situation right a couple times. Coach, as you try to impress, obviously, a number of things on your players, and Jairus just talked about some of those things, and other guys have on this show many times. How much more important is it for the players who have heard it a little bit from you than to regurgitate it, yes, but at the same time give their own spin on it too?
Yeah, it's so tricky, right? Because we want our guys to love hoops and love competing. And, I want that to be a major part of this 4 or 5 year experience for you. For guys like Logan, hopefully they'll be leaving with a master's, getting to play 5 years, and that sounds pretty good to me. But my point is, after you leave, some of these guys are good enough to be pros, get paid to play basketball. And I know everybody says that they want to do that, but some of these guys have the ability to do it. It's just how much work are they going to put in, and the trajectory is really good. At some point, though, the ball stops bouncing, right? Whether that's when you're 26 or 40 or 45 if you're Tom Brady or LeBron or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
And maybe.
And maybe. But, your legacy, your identity, your wife isn't going to care that you can shoot 46 from 3. Your kids aren't going to care that you can put 2 balls between your legs down and back on 94-foot court. That stuff is, as you get older, it kind of slides and you realize, man, that got me here, but that's not who I'm going to be moving forward. It's your faith. It's how you treat people. It's how you impact those around you. It's how you love, like I said, faithful husbands, loving fathers. If we can keep the family unit together and show your kids how to do that, man, that changes family trees. And I've already seen it. I'm not that old, but I have guys that I used to coach that are already dads, and their kids are growing up, and they're seeing it modeled maybe for the first time ever. So to me, that's success. Yes, we want to kick everybody's tail. We want to hang banners. I talked about that, and I believe we're going to. But if that's it, if all I taught you was how to be efficient with your jab series or how to jump to the ball defensively or even how to talk on D, then I failed, and we failed as a staff. And so to hear them, like you said, say it back in their own words, man, there's nothing that makes me more excited because real identity, real impact goes way beyond a basketball.
I want to hear their perspective in just a second, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Does that come from just personal experience, or does that come from another coach down the line that taught that to you? Where did you develop that mentality?
Yeah, that's a great question. I played for a couple different coaches in college, and both were old school, hard nosed, if you went into their office, it wasn't to hang out and ask how your girl was doing
Coach
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I just knew as the society was evolving, you got to build relationships first, and that's something that I'm gifted at. I don't know if I'm gifted as a coach, but I think I can build a relationship with young guys, and they know how much they're valued. So I didn't have that for the guy I played for, that I finished for. We didn't have a tight family. I'm tight with some of those guys, but it's not the same as what we've created. And then the calling on my life is maybe someone who doesn't look like me or speak like me or I'm a middle-class white dude. And there's a lot of dudes that didn't have the same experiences. They just need someone to model it for them. And so that's what Brittany and I want to do. That's why we're in Northwest Indiana after we were in Chicago. There's no ladder for us. There's no dream job for us. We want to be where we're supposed to be. If we're obedient to that and we pour in, then, God will take care of the rest. And hopefully the guys will have a great impact on them while winning, like I said, a lot of games and graduating dudes. So personal experience, my high school coach was great. Hoggs is unbelievable. We both played for him. Mark DeYoung, my junior high coach, was awesome. John Walkner, my JV coach, was awesome. Different coaches I played against, and my two guys, Rhett Soliday, who I worked for, and Russ Davis, who I worked for, those guys had an incredible impact on how I coach. So I'm not here because of my own ability. I'm here because people poured into me, and I want to pour into others, pay it forward, so that they will pour into others.
Logan, how do you balance all that? How do you balance the mentality of life in the bigger picture at the same time trying to win? Is there a time when you have to pull back competitively, or are you able to juggle it pretty well?
I feel like you should never pull back competitively. We want to compete hard no matter what. Obviously, we're here to win basketball games, and everything else is just comes along with that. I feel like, especially for me growing up, having Hoggs as my coach, it just kind of I had it modeled for me early, so I don't have that hard of a time juggling both.
Sangle, why is what Coach said not just words, but meaningful?
It's meaningful because you can carry it past basketball. I mean, he's building something that's bigger than basketball, and I think that's very important to just become a young man, a role model to younger kids, and just being an outstanding citizen.
Coach, final stretch here. Again, I've said it to Coach Locke, and I'll say it to you again, but as you look forward, following this final game, this final week, as you look forward to the upcoming seasons and things where your program's headed, which, again, hard to believe, year 4 about to come to a conclusion. All the things we just talked about, very important, but as far as on the floor right now, that aspect of the question, where are we at?
Truthfully, and we've been honest, I told you to come at me hard the last couple weeks when we weren't playing well, and now we beat a national contender, a ranked team. We're going to keep it real either way. This was the first year that I felt where we thought at the beginning of the year we could be to where we are now, that we haven't done it. And so it's a challenge. It's a challenge for my staff. It's a challenge for our players. We got to get a lot better. We got to get nastier. We got to get tougher. We got a bunch of freshmen and COVID freshmen, Z, Logan, Ant, Sangle, Kai Steinman, that played major minutes. Well, just playing major minutes doesn't get you better. Taking that experience and going into the offseason and working your tail off in the weight room and playing together and not taking days off, that's going to be important. And then you look at Anthony Bernard and Michel Cooper. We got to keep them healthy. 2 really good all-conference type players who missed, 25 games between the 2 of them. We got to keep those guys healthy, so building up their bodies. And then this recruiting class is going to be giant. We have to add some depth. We have to add some bigs. We got to get nastier around the rim defensively and on the glass. And we got to add a couple more grown-ups that are voices in the arena, so it's not a coach-led team, it's a player-led team. These guys are really talented, dude, and as they take the next step, I don't see any reason, Sam, why we can't compete for the GLIAC next year. I said this on Saturday, but you look at our record in just a glass case, and you're like, they struggled. We were really not that far away. If you look at so many of those games that were clutch games, 5 points or less with 5 to go, we just didn't close them as much as we needed to, and that's the difference between winning and losing. No excuses. I got to do better. We got to do better, and we're going to work our tails off to be an upper echelon GLIAC team to give ourselves a chance at the national tournament, because that's what we want. We want to go dancing. I didn't take the job just to raise the level, and everyone's like, oh, that's great, he can coach and all that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. We want to build faithful husbands, loving fathers, and we want to go dancing. And so we're not there right now. We got a lot of work to do, but I am not discouraged. I am encouraged because we bring some really good players back that want it.
Logan, that work extends most to the players, I think. Mm-hmm. So what's the mentality as you finish the season? Still a lot of work to be done this week, but as you guys finish up and get to your off season pretty soon, how hard is that to maintain focus? Is it easy then for you guys to get in that off season program?
I would say for me personally, some stuff is really easy. Like being in the gym, working on my game, it comes really easy because that's really fun for me to do. My challenge is like the weight room, for example. I know I got to get stronger, and that I know that now. I'm motivated to do that now. So that just maybe takes a little bit more of a self-motivation to do that. But I'm really ready for this off season.
Sangle, where's the point of emphasis going to be for you?
In the off season, I plan to build on my shot more. I've gotten better throughout the season, but I plan to take it to the next level. Also, I plan to gain more consistency in the weight room. I feel like if I get stronger and get a better shot, I'll be a more complete player.
Coach, hard to believe, again, not only 4 years in the books, but another season has gone by with this show. Always good to see you. Good to see you guys as well. And time flies, I guess, when you're having fun, even when it's up and down fun for everybody involved. But it's always fun for me. I like being around, you know.
Listen, the fun is in the competing.
Yeah.
If your only identity in the winning and losing, you're going to be a lonely guy.
Yeah. And I said this, too, at the beginning of the show. Big thanks to Dave Warner and the people here at Station 21 for this particular event and for their support all year, and everybody who is a corporate champion with you guys. And that's a big part of it. Sad reality, maybe not sad, but the simple reality is that you got to have money to do things that you want to do. And so when business people step up, it makes it a lot easier. But also, I'd be remiss if I did not. I know I closed some of our broadcasts over the weekend saying this, but the guys and gals who made our broadcast I think, enjoyable for the most part, and we did as good a job as we could putting those out there. Big thanks to them. I do the least amount of work. Other people carry me. Coach Hayes, most importantly, does. I can tell you that. And I hope, I still want him to keep coaching. The guy can still do it, man. He's 75. I think he could still get back on the sideline and ride me as an official in a high school game. But if he's not, I want him back doing games with me, and he's a big part of it. Ben Tamara, I think, was at almost every single game, at least all the ones that I was. All of our camera people, outstanding job by them. And as we continue to develop the program here, Coach, I know you guys are going to make it even easier for me to do games. Because when there's W's, when there's games like Saturday, that's when it's easy. That's when it's fun.
No doubt.
I think some of my best calls for Saturday.
I thought you were terrific. Go check out Twitter and all that stuff. You guys do a great job. I'm not just saying that. In the background, people, it doesn't happen without them. Just like Kendall Aldridge X and my staff, super thankful.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to turn it into a joke, pat on the back moment for me, but really a nod to all of them. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And this has been the PNW Basketball Coaches Show here tonight from Station 21. Thanks to everybody. And we'll see you.